Hello, my name is Zachariah Van Sliders. I'm with Old Man Gaming, and this is another horrible review. Let's get into everybody's favorite part, the disclaimers. I'm a house dad. I don't do this professionally, so you might hear my kid in the background. I might pause for a really long time. The audio might be terrible. I'm not going to go back and edit it. I don't get paid for this. Number 2, I think video games are one of the most subjective forms of art. I do not give it a point-based rating system. I give you an overview, pros, cons. Hopefully that helps you to understand and want to play the game. Building off that, I only play about 10 hours of these games before I do the review. I mean, sometimes more, but sometimes less. But for the most part, this is not... I haven't played every little nook and cranny. This is just an everyman who gets 2 hours to play, giving you an idea of whether you should play it or not. That out of the way, today's game is My Time at Portia. And this is a real interesting one. And I'm going to start by saying, do you like Animal Crossing? Have you ever played Animal Crossing? Do you like any of those types of games? This is the game for you. The overview is you live in a world post-apocalyptic that is somehow not controlled by marauders searching from one point to another for gas and killing people along the way. In fact, in this post-apocalyptic world, everybody's kind of happy and they just make stuff and, fish together. Which I'm not going to lie, at first made me a little sad. But this game is really good. At least at what it's trying to do. Your character shows up in this town, of course, called Portia. You inherit a workshop from your comically always absent father, and then you become a builder there, taking on contracts to build stuff for townsfolk and for certain organizations. Everything from bridges to umbrellas. Anything that can be built, you build it. To do that, you have to mine resources as well as delve into these ancient ruins, before post-apocalypse, and take on certain different creatures in a combat-y way. The other half of that game is the social aspect. Every person in Portia is a person that you can get to know, that you can date, you can even marry. You can have social relationships with, be friends with, gift, play, that whole thing. And that's something that's going to separate it a little bit from the original Animal Crossing, which was very task-based and not a whole lot of the social aspect into it. Whereas this one is heavy into the social aspect, getting to know people, befriending them. That helps you get jobs through them. And it's also part of the fun. As you do stuff, you also gain experience and you level up in a intriguingly Borderlands-like skill tree. There's 3 different trees, one for combat, one for mining and harvesting and building, and the other is for the social aspect of it. It's very interesting. You buy up the levels of perks, and then after you've bought a certain amount, you can start buying from the next level of perks. You also have a certain number of endurance. The endurance goes down by you doing just about anything. And when the endurance gets to 0, you really can't do anything anymore until you go to sleep, which is a big limiting factor of the game and makes you really think about how you're going to spend your time each day, especially since most of the jobs you're doing have time limits on them. All right, so that's basically it. Let's go into the pros. The pros are the social aspects is a lot of fun. I also really enjoy the calendar and you really feel part of this town in this game. You can check your calendar. There are special holidays, special events that you can take part in. All sorts of things that aren't just regulated to go here, do this, go here, do this, go here, do this. And putting it on that time schedule kind of makes it feel more real. And it really immerses you in the world a little bit more, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed the befriending characters. I enjoyed talking to them. They're never long interactions. I never feel like they overstay their welcome with a ton of text. The building aspect of it is really good too. I mean, it's does that as good as any other game with the building stuff to it. You harvest the stuff, you need better stuff to harvest bigger stuff, to then harvest more stuff, yada, yada, yada. It's very well done. It's very good on those fronts. So let's go to the cons. Cons, I want to say this to any game out there that's being mostly peaceful and decides to do combat. Don't do combat. This game doesn't need combat. I don't know why it has combat, but it has combat in it. You have to actually fight these robots, and you have to build some weapons for yourself, and you actually have to go out and hunt animals on occasion. Also, if you're going to make a game like this, stop making the animals so damn cute. All the animals you fight are cute as hell. I don't want to kill cute animals. Like, I just don't. Like, at least make them scary looking or something. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that scary animals should be killed over cute ones. But if I'm playing a game like this, man, I don't want to fight I don't want everything I fight to look like a lollipop. Okay, so the combat itself is very herky-jerky and very base level. And it doesn't really matter, because when you die, they literally just put you outside your house with all of your stats are fine. You don't lose anything. You don't even lose the stuff you're holding, so there's no consequences to it whatsoever. So, like I said, it doesn't need to be in this game, and it brings it down just a little bit. Like, I know that's weird. I personally like a little combat in my game, and I like a little action. But if you're going to do combat, it should feel as immersive as everything else. And I feel like it's a tacked on silliness in this. I feel like if everything else is really in depth and good, and then all of a sudden I'm in combat and I die and it doesn't matter, like, that brings me out of the immersion, which they've done so well crafting everywhere else. The other irritating thing I'm going to say is everything you create has like a large amount of time on it. And I don't see a correction to this. Like, this has to be in the game. It makes you think about how you're going to create stuff and what you're going to do in a day so that you can get projects done and balance it with your social life. And very obviously, that's what the game is about. Still, it is very irritating when I have to gather these 96 stone to make bricks out of, and it's going to take me 4 minutes in the game to make the bricks, and I don't have anything else to do in 4 minutes. 4 minutes isn't really long enough to just go get into an adventure, so I just literally have to sit there and watch a countdown go down. That's a little annoying, but again, it's not really a correction for it. I'm really just stating it, like, be ready for that. It happens, and it's a little irritating. It's one irritating thing about it. So again, if you like Animal Crossing, if you like peaceful games like that, if you like just a chill experience that you can get full immersion in and kind of like turn your brain off to the real world and live in a fantasy one for a while, this is definitely the game for you. I mean, if you want action, stay away. Just stay away. It's not going to tickle that bone at all, but I found it very fun. This is one of the few games that I can definitely play around my kid, and I can just play it in the background, and there's no problems with violence or anything, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything if I stop to do something with the kid. So, all in all, it's a nice, fun, chill building experience, which I think is definitely worth checking out. I will say, just postscript, there was a couple other cons that I wanted to just touch on. The inventory management is real terrible in this. You can only carry a very, very small amount of items. That includes all your building and whatever, so you have to constantly keep making these like wooden boxes to put stuff in, and it's very easy to like lose track of where you have what, where, what, and that's a little irritating. I wish there was more inventory space. I mean, since the game revolves around that, give them more inventory space. And lastly, I really wish there was some sort of online component to this. As much fun as it is to play with other characters in the city, I would love to like share a universe with a friend. And even if we're not logged in at the same time, it'd be really nice that if they had a workshop, I had a workshop, and we could compete. There is a competition kind of mechanism in the game already. Our workshops could compete, and we could actually see how the other person influences the game. I think if they make a sequel to this, I think that it would be amazing to have in it. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed this review. Again, it's terrible. They are all terrible, but as I say every time, as long as you guys keep watching them, I will keep prattling on about video games incessantly into my phone and then crafting it into a terribly put together video in a program from like 2011. So thanks again. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey, are you into self-torture? Do you want to watch more of these terrible, horrible reviews? Well, you're in luck, because if low production values are your thing, click any of the things you see around you to see more terrible reviews that I did in my basement. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for a steady stream of abuse.